this is the Innova Toro, and this fills one of the few gaps that Innova had in their lineup. That being a fast, overstable approach disc, a true zone competitor, and something that can fill that slot in a lot of players' bags. And the Toro does a great job at being in the same category as a zone while differentiating itself enough to not be just a straight up clone of a zone. But there is one thing about this disc that kind of irks me a little bit, and it kind of makes this disc fall short a little bit. But we're gonna talk about that. Now, being a longtime Innova fan, I have looked for so many discs to fill that zone slot. Like a lot of people are with Discraft now, I was one of those guys who I needed my whole bag to be Innova, right? But they just never had one of these discs, not exactly like a zone. They had a pig, but that was a little slower and a little bit more overstable, and it had that putter feel in the hand. And then they had the mortar, or it's basically just a beadless gator. They had that, but that one's more like a mid-range, and it wasn't quite as overstable. It just wasn't like a zone, you know? It's just a little bit different. So I just never bagged, I just kept the zone in my bag. That was the one non-Innova disc in my bag when I was starting to play. And that is why this Toro is kind of a big deal for Innova people, because they just haven't had quite this disc in their lineup yet. So starting with the flight of this is very much like a zone, exactly like a zone. It is a little bit fast. Well, it's not, I wouldn't say it's faster than a zone, but it is more overstable than the zone. So this one, it just takes a little bit more oomph behind it to really get it to where you want it to go, and it hooks up a little faster at the end. Now, this doesn't have as much glide as the zone, which is actually pretty surprising. The zone with its puddle top, it's kind of known for, I'm gonna sit down, my knees hurt. It's kind of known for having no glide and just being very controllable and trustworthy into a headwind for approaches. And this has a little bit less glide than that. It's just a very great overstable approach disc. Just about anyone can use this. For beginners, is this gonna teach you good form? No, but I think just about everyone can use that disc where they throw a backhand, trust it's gonna finish left, go forehand, trust that it's gonna finish right. It's just a very reliable disc that just about anyone can benefit from in their bag. And those little bit differences are reflected in the flight numbers. The zone having the flight numbers of 4303 and the Toro having 4204. So it's just a little bit less glide, a little bit more overstable, and those are pretty good reflections of these two discs in terms of flight. Now, where they do differentiate a little bit more is the feel, and that's where it starts getting pretty interesting. Now, when talking about the shape and feel of this disc, the Toro has a smaller diameter than the zone. So if you like those smaller diameter feels, this is closer to a putter diameter than a mid-range diameter. But the Toro does have it's more blunt on the edge, so that kind of makes it feel a little bit fill the hand a little bit more than the zone does. But the thing that the zone is so great about the zone that a lot of people love about it is that puddle top on the top. This kind of has a puddle top, so it's kind of hard to show on camera, but it has it's almost like what the Mutant has. It's not quite like a thumb track, but it is angled downwards once it's past the rim, but then it flattens out and angles flat again. If you've seen the Mutant, you'll know what I'm talking about, but it's not as angled as the Mutant, and then it doesn't come back up like the Mutant. The Mutant angles down and then angles back up. This one angles down and then angles flat. So some of them might have domes, like I saw another video with the color glow ones that might have a pop top dome with them. This one's board flat, so this one doesn't have a dome at all. The angle down might give it a little less glide, but it doesn't have that puddle top. It definitely feels like a flat disc in your hand. But my biggest gripe that I have about this disc is something that some of you might just hear it and be yeah, whatever, but some of you might hear it and be ew, gross. No, not for me. And that's the camp that I'm in, and that is that this disc has a plus rim on it. Now, if you don't know what a plus rim is, if you take a look at a disc like this, perfectly horizontal, these edges on the inside of the disc, that's what it's talking about. Now, normal rims, what they have are the inside of the rim here. They're usually parallel like this, so they're nice and straight all around the inside of the rim. Now, what the plus rims are is they take that parallel inside the rim and they slant it outwards slightly, ever so slightly. So the inside of this rim is slanted outwards. They don't just come just straight down, they're slanted out, and that's what a plus rim is. Some people are indifferent, they don't really care, it doesn't really bother them, but some other people like myself, it's just, I don't like the feel of it. It feels like it kind of slips out of the hand, and it really depends on the discs. Like, I know some of you are probably watching and be like, man, Innova, they can't get anything right. They're idiots. Well, well, Innova's not the only one that does this. A lot of other companies make plus rims and people are fine with them. Like, a lot of your favorite molds might have plus rims on them. A few that are just off the top of my head are the later run FDs. Those had plus rims. The later run PDs had plus rims. And even like the Discraft Undertaker. That's probably the most popular disc that I know right now that has a plus rim on it. The rim doesn't come straight down, it's slightly slanted out. And a ton of people throw Undertakers, and Discraft can't do anything wrong, so it's literally just personal preference. Some people don't care about the plus rim, but if you're like me and it doesn't jive well with you, there are some other options. Like the Zone doesn't have a plus rim. The Zone is just straight on those edges. But another one that is a good Zone competitor that doesn't have a plus rim is the Distortion, and I actually reviewed that, and you can click that over here. But otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.